Hello, and welcome to a pestle model presentation covering the FDI opportunities analysis for the country of Poland. This presentation is performed by Luisa Enchinato, Eric Gully, James Holman, Travis Lawler, and Roy Logan. Poland is a beautiful country in Central Europe that first became an independent entity in the 10th century. Poland is the 69th largest country in the world and the 9th largest country in Europe by land area. It is situated on the Baltic Sea and bordered by Germany, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, the Ukraine, Belarus, Lithuania, and Kaliningrad Oblast. Its capital city, Warsaw, has almost 2 million people, and the country has an overall population of 38 million. Poland is home to 14 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, productive farmland, forests, rivers, lakes, mountain ranges, beautiful coastlines, and modern cities juxtaposed with quaint fishing villages and ancient market towns. Its people have suffered through various levels of independence as a country and many forms of governmental control, including being conquered by the Third Reich in 1939 and then becoming part of the Eastern Bloc communist regime in 1945. The people and economy suffered under the heavy hand of communism until eventually Poland threw off the shackles of despotic communistic rule and became a democracy in 1989. Poland quickly proceeded to develop economic, governmental, and societal changes to promote freedom in every sense of the word. Since ousting communism, Poland has joined the world stage, becoming a member of the EU, NATO, the UN, the World Trade Organization, and many other cooperative, economic, political, environmental, and cultural organizations. Today it boasts a growing economy with modern cities and people with a long and proud heritage. As of 2015, greater than 90% of Poland's populace is of white European descent, with most individuals speaking Polish as their primary language. The population growth rate is essentially zero, with an average age being 38 years old. Join us as we take a deeper dive into the economic opportunities of Poland.
Poland's political system is a parliamentary system of democratic government. Poland has several political parties, but the two major parties are the Civic Platform Party and the Law and Justice Party. In 2015, the Law and Justice Party took over control of the government. Andrzej Duda of the Law and Justice Party took over the role of the president, and Beata Szydło of the Law and Justice Party took over the role of prime minister. This gave the Law and Justice Party control over the government. According to Freedom House's Political Freedom Scores of 2017, Poland rates as free, with an overall freedom rating of 1.5, a civil liberty rating of 2, and a political rights rating of 1. The Freedom House Political Freedom Score, rated at 89, is the same as the United States in 2017. Some feel these ratings may change moving forward. A growing number of Polish people feel that their democracy and freedom are under attack from the Law and Justice Party. Many fear that Poland may be heading towards an authoritarian government. The Law and Justice Party is critical of Poland's current liberal democratic model of government. The Law and Justice Party in 2010 proposed a constitution that strengthened the role of the presidency, eroded checks and balances, weakened the independence of the judiciary and central bank, and introduced populist elements. The Civic Platform Party has made allegations of attempted coups and threats to democracy. In December 2016, there were large demonstrations in Warsaw protesting what they feel is the loss of democracy. Anita Zadrozna, a Polish immigrant, took time out to discuss her thoughts in regards to Poland's political situation.
Hello, my name is Aneta Zadrożna. The government thinks that the political situation in Poland is very stable. If you ask the European Union, they think that it's very unstable. The government is very conservative. The opposite parties, they don't agree with the laws that they try to put in place, and the same with the European Union. They don't agree with all the laws that the party tries to pass, and as a result of that, the European Union might put some sanctions on Poland. They may not let them participate in the main voting at the European Union. I agree with the Conservative Party, and I think that whatever laws they're passing, they basically are in line with my beliefs.
Over the last 20 years, Poland has enjoyed political stability, even more stable than the United States. Even with this stability, Poland has rated more politically corrupt than the United States by approximately 10 points on a 0 to 100 scale. Prime Minister Szydło states that there is no reason to fear for the loss of democracy. Szydło feels that the protests are being started by the Civic Platform Party in hopes of regaining power of the government again. In the meantime, President Duda has promised to pay attention to the needs of the underprivileged in Poland. He has promised to speak with more authority in the European Union about Poland's goals and needs to make them clear to political parties. President Duda has hosted President Xi of China to discuss industrial cooperation and witnessed the first freight train from China to Warsaw. Even though Poland may be experiencing some political unrest, it appears that President Duda is continuing to work towards a free market in Poland in hopes of increasing globalization and the economic stability of his country.
When talking about the Polish economy, it's important to note that they use a market economic system. Poland has the largest economy in Central Europe, and they represent the sixth largest economy in the European Union. The Polish economy has been fairly stable since undergoing economic liberation in the early 1990s. Poland was the only European country to avoid recession through 2008 and 2009 economic struggles of Europe. So they've been fairly consistent. We've only got the last couple of years shown here, but the trends have been consistent for the last 5 years. As you can see, their total GNI trending slightly up to just over $1 trillion. Inward FDI stock and flow, outward FDI stock and flow, all consistently improving year after year. When we take a look at unemployment, inflation, and GDP growth rate, again, the unemployment rate improving some from 15 to 16, inflation rate dropping a small amount. Their growth rate slowed from 15 to 16, primarily due to a very slow third quarter of 2016. We take a look at how Poland ranks worldwide. You can take a look and see where they are ranking. The Human Development Index, the last column on the right, they rank 36th. Part of what plays a part in that is that they have an average life expectancy of 77.4 years, expected years of schooling of 15.5, and mean years of schooling 11.8. As it stands today, the economic freedom score for Poland is 69.3, which is considered moderately free and has a global ranking of 39. While the Polish economy has performed well over the past 5 years, there's currently a tense political situation that could impact the overall economy, and it will be exciting to see what the future holds for Poland.
As we continue the discussion of the economic situation of Poland, let us look at the trade products, both imported and exported, over time. First, notice that Poland continues to move away from most low-tech manufacturing-based industries, as evidenced by both decreased import and export of oil products. Also notice that as Poland has become increasingly involved in the technology industries, its economy is both consuming and exporting more high-tech machinery and electronics than ever before. Next, let's take a look at who Poland's most common trade partners are. We see that Poland tends to trade mainly with those individuals close to them. A lot of their imports come from Germany, and much of their export market is also to Germany and the UK, the Czech Republic, France, and other parts of Italy. Russia and China both make up a significant portion of the import market. Also notice that as compared to the US and the UK, Poland has a lower maximal tariff rate, but a higher simple average tariff rate and less tariff agreements, meaning that compared to the US and the UK, it may be slightly more difficult for trade partners to want to trade with Poland. Next, let's take a look at the historic currency exchange rate for the Polish zloty, which means golden, as compared to the US dollar and the euro. Notice that over the last 10 years, increasing discrepancy has shown between the Polish zloty and the US dollar, resulting in a situation today where 1 US dollar will buy you 4.04 Polish zloty.
Culture of the United States and Poland. In the U.S., people are referred to as Americans. In Poland, people are Poles. The official language in the U.S. is English, and in Poland, it's Polish. The Hofstede theories. Poland scores much higher than the U.S. on the power distance theory, meaning employees are more likely to be obedient to their superiors without discussion in Poland than the U.S. The U.S. scores much greater than Poland in individualism. In America, people rely primarily on themselves. In Poland, it is a more collective environment. People rely on others and work together. U.S. and Poland scored pretty evenly on the masculinity scale. Both cultures are equally competitive. They have a medium level of masculinity. Poland scored much higher on uncertainty avoidance than the U.S. Polish people like to stay away from situations with uncertainty and prefer detailed instruction when working. Americans are more welcome to ambiguity. Americans are much more indulgent than Poles. Americans really enjoy extra vacation and going out to have a good time. Poles are more reserved. Religions in Poland and the United States. Both Poland and the U.S. are predominantly Christian countries. Poland has 87% Catholics, and the U.S. has only 20%. 46.5% of people in the U.S. are Protestant. Both countries have a very small percentage of Buddhists, Muslims, Jehovah's Witness, Mormon, and Orthodox people. Education in Poland and the United States. The U.S. and Poland both spend a little over 5% of their GDP on education. A major difference between Poland and the U.S. is the number of years of compulsory education. In the U.S., kids go to school for 12 years. In Poland, they only attend for 9 years. Despite this, Polish students overall tested higher than Americans on the PISA scale for math, reading, and science. The U.S. scored considerably lower in the math section.
Anita, what are your thoughts on the Polish education system?
Back then, when I was in Poland, the Polish education was based mostly on memorization, whatever we learned at school. And it has changed recently in the past 15 years. The Polish curriculum is mostly based on the effects of education, not just what students know, but also what they can do and how they can use their knowledge practically, how they can apply the knowledge in their life.
The technical aspects of Poland as compared to the United States indicates that the United States has significantly invested more in research and development as a percentage of GDP. The number of patents over time from the United States is significantly higher than Poland. The number of scientific papers written over time, as you can see, is very much higher in the United States than it is in Poland. The innovation indexes are fairly close. Environmental Performance Index over time with Poland as compared to the United States shows that the ranking for health impacts are fairly close, 25 and 35, and then there's big differences like air quality, Poland at 128 and the United States at 38. And then, of course, another interesting area would be the forest numbers being so low for Poland and so high for the United States. The legal system in Poland is democratic with civil law, courts of appeal, provincial courts, district courts, legislative power vested in the parliament. Lower house is the Sejm, the upper house is the Senate, and the legal system in the United States is federal law, state legislature, Supreme Court, Court of Appeals, U.S. district courts, federal and state statutes, arbitration, Senate and House of Representatives. When it comes to Poland and the United States, the intellectual property protection over time is fairly close, actually. The Poland SWOT analysis indicates that there are strengths in Poland consisting of strong GDP growth, well-diversified economy. Their weaknesses would involve a lack of transparency of government and an inefficient bureaucracy and public procurement process. They do have opportunities, however, the EU-funded programs, the infrastructure development, and advanced manufacturing. The threats for Poland would include the ongoing Eurozone crisis and the worsening economic relations with Russia.
This Pestel model presentation will be beneficial in determining if foreign direct investment into Poland should be considered. Below are the references our group used in preparation of this presentation.